lost some of the top surface, so we, you know, it was only when we travelled down and came onto that we have this line that runs through here. It's quite distinct, but clearly we've lost some of that material, which doesn't help. But quite what's going on here, I don't know. But again, it's that substantial footprint, isn't it? I mean, these are big walls, but you know, I mean, especially back there, a good metre across. I mean, this is fairly ephemeral in its width compared to some of the other ones. I mean, like you're up down the bottom there. That's, you know, this is pale insignificant. What's that?
I was saying, I didn't know how a girl under here. Anyway, just careful the hand doesn't come up.
Yeah, and drag it in.
We've all seen the horror movies.
But luckily, we can say that it's a lot longer than anything that's going to have a hand in it. Hopefully.
Unless it's got more than one person under it.
No, it's gone. You know, I mean, I think, to be honest, if it was just one course, then we might be able to say that exactly that as it is, not which one's underneath. I don't know if you've seen anything like it, Katie, anywhere?
Not really.
No, that's the thing, isn't it?
That is the thing. I can't think of an example that's quite like.
I mean, what we did after we found one or two.
You know, not.
Yeah, after we found these two here, we were rained off on the Sunday morning, so we just had a quick spin round some of the local sites. Yeah. Cliff Piper does a lot in it, you're probably aware. Some of them are substantial as well, you know, and they're statement stones, they're not just part of the makeup, they're clearly there to be seen. But not familiar with anything like this, if I'm honest. I mean, I've seen them as paths across a couple of Roman sites. At Chiselham, for instance, there was a set of those across that back axis which aligned some form of timber structure later than that villa back axis was. But don't know, not familiar with it like that. Using the wall or putting the trench up to the wall as it stands at the moment until we get a bit more depth just here to see if we can elicit any information from that. And it might be that we take a section out of the wall as well at some stage. That's right. And we might be able to say something about that from the work that's happening now. And of course the other thing is here, you see, that's a false footprint, if that makes sense. I think that's just tumble, so once Mary's taken the material off the top, we'll then take the rubber off, and I bet there's some more under there, the way things are going now. We've certainly got partially. Whether they curve round it at the end,
Which one?
to your right.
That one?
Yeah.
Up there? Huh? Come on, come in here, please.
I think that's fairly.
See it there, yeah.
So this is the weathered surface of the stone when it came out in the April.
Yeah.
And this is broken.
Oh, okay.
And if you feel how this carries on round here and comes down the side there.
Yeah, it's got an edge to it, yeah.
Yeah, and it comes round. So this is busted off.
Okay.
And also new. So originally it would have been a lump or something like this.
Right. That's interesting.
That's been knocked off.
Yeah. Intriguing.
Well,
it's just there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's in the matrix.
It is quite literally.
So in terms of the formation process for Sarsen, and then the periglacial movement of the formed rocks, so the erosion of the loose unsilicified stuff around them, and the erosion then from down the slopes, it's not at all surprising to find Sarsens in this location.
That's right.
You might expect to find Sarsens.
Yeah, well that's right.
Will have absolutely no effect on the Sarsen compared with the chalk, which will go mental. Should do this the other way around really, should put the acid on the chalk rather than the chalk on the acid, but so that's the reaction that we should expect to happen. So it's all off-gassing, it'll smell really horrible, please don't breathe it in. And it'll just keep doing that till there's no chalk left, pretty much. But you can see how it's bubbling, and you get a little bit of a, almost like a sort of dust, I suppose, on the bubbles as they grow, which is, well, the chalk is just calcium carbonate. But that's a really nice, clean, I suppose, pure, almost, version of calcium carbonate, just a little chalk stick. Sarsen, this is, well, archaeologically, you'd call this saccharide sarsen and this quartzite sarsen. And the difference, you can really see the difference actually if you look at it under magnification. I've got a couple of eyepieces, you can have a little look. So
You've all gone very quiet.
the saccharide sarsen is called it because it's like sugar loaf, looks like sugar. So if you look at it under magnification, you'll see all the little sand grains, which are quartz, and very little else. Whereas the quartzite sarsen is very much finer. You don't get the sand grains. It's made of a much siltier material by comparison. So that's how you should be able to tell the difference between the sarsens and something that's basically calcium carbonate or limestone or a chalk by doing a little test like this. So you could either take a wee bit off one of those bigger stones if you wanted to test it, or you could. The trouble with just pouring some acid on the stone, which is not a very good way of doing it, is that you're just letting it run away, a bit like water runs off a rock. You're not going to get the same effect really necessarily. You have to do the thing properly.
Surprising how long it keeps going.
Well, I've got a punch and a bolster with me. If you wanted to take a bit off, we could do that. But it all depends on whether you actually want to do that and take a corner off.
Well, yeah, why not?
They've been recorded in, so I think we're happy to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'd be okay to knock a piece off, won't it?
Yeah. It's the only way we're going to find it.
Auger, but how deep does that go before you hit the...
Sorry?
How you put the auger into there to see how deep it went?
Oh, this morning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so the yellow stuff doesn't start kicking in on this side until another 24 centimetres down. Whereas it's already down that side.
You're right. I probably won't hit it hard enough now. This is Sarsen. No, it is Sarsen. See, that's what a fresh break does for you. That's what
that's
geology
opened
is
up right
all
up.
about. So it's taken a flake off there, like that. So Sarsen behaves like flint, but it doesn't have a perfect conchoidal fracture. But that's exactly what that's done. It's bust it off. And if you have a look round, you'll see the similarities between that and those two bits of really obvious. Yeah, we don't even need to do anything with that.
Like that
So both of them two are the same?
Highly likely.
Okay.
There you go. That's what we needed. It's doing great. Don't need to do anything else. And quartzite sarsen. But actually, it's on a continuum. It's not one type and another type. It's on a continuum because it relies completely on the tertiary beds, the sands, silts and clays sitting on top of the chalk, being stuck together with the silica. And so because those beds themselves are variable, sometimes you get pebbles in them. So you'll find big sarsen stones that have got blobs of pebbles and lines of pebbles stuck in them because that's what the... because that's what was overlying the chalk when it all stuck together with the silica at a time, well, I'm not too sure about. And probably the process only took about 30,000 years.
Anyway.
Well, in geological time, that's nothing.
Yeah,
30,000 years is just a blink in the eye, geologically speaking. Well, there we go. So that's Sarsen. That one probably is as well.
Yeah, that's sorted
These
out.
definitely are.
Yeah.
So they're different kinds of sarsen, but they're
Well,
still sarsen.
it's all the same, really. It's all the same.
It's just formed slightly
Just looks
differently.
slightly
isn't it?
Well,
And it's-
the material that has been formed
Yeah.
into the sarsen that's been stuck together that's been glued up with the silica was just slightly different.
Recently that was that just took the chip off in a way.
Yeah, we should do it. It's like flint knapping.
Once you got the knack.
Once you know where to
Yeah.
do it, ping a bit
Because they
off.
seem so hard
Well, they are.
than anything else. you
They
come
are
across.
very, very hard.
Yeah.
But it's just like any of these
Yeah.
things. I mean, brain surgery is hard, but obviously
Yeah,
people
yeah, if
get
you're
trained
trained in it,
to
that's
do
it,
it,
yeah.
don't they? I
Yeah,
think,
that's right.
tend to think of things in that way, really. It's,
But didn't earlier people make tools from bits of sarsen? So,
there are some.
So,
So there's an example in this county. There's an example of Paleolithic hand axe that's been flaked out
so
of a piece
did
of
they hit a
sarsen.
sarsen with a sarsen?
You can do that, yeah.
I found at Motorola with Cotswolds, it's been 20 years ago now, in a pit, a sarsen quernstone,
Yeah.
and it was dished like that. There's hundreds of years worth of use in it, and it was napped fairly roughly, but it was still napped
Yeah.
to give it the shape.
Yeah. Well, when you walk up from Barbary Castle and you go along Smith's Ridge, just below there, at Burderock, all those sites in the 70s that Chris Bincknoll
Oh right,
excavated.
yeah.
That's all making sarsen querns, all of that, and there's all the waste stone and everything that they excavated from that site along there, just beyond that big disc barrow that's,
Right. Oh, I know
that's
what
up
you mean.
there.
As it drops down behind.
Yeah,
the
as it
fields,
drops down, you go past the disc barrow, and
Yeah.
that's the big flat area on the parish boundary. Either
Strangely.
side of it is where that settlement site was, and it looks like they're actually producing sarsen querns. There's hardly any sarsen up there now. If you actually
Yeah.
go up there and have a look, there's hardly any up there. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a kind of napping, just big scale.
I found a stone in the field. Do you remember it was sort of rounded? It's just half of it, but it's all smoothed off, and that's very hard stuff. I wonder
Yeah.
if that is
Yeah,
the
probably.
same stuff. Amazing. I think it might have just come from up there. Somebody sold it to them
Yeah, maybe.
for what, a sheep or something.
Yeah.
It's all about barter and exchange.
But that's the value of a clean braid.
Yeah.
Anything geological, you have to look at a clean braid.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Not to be precious with it.
Well,
to
it's a
actually
big
answer the-
heavy rock.
Yeah, that's right.
Once you've recorded it, it's like that.
Yeah.
We photographed it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. What
It's
else are
in
you
there.
going to do
Let's
with
take
it?
a bit. Yeah.
To be
It may
honest, you
stay.
hardly know you've done anything to
Yeah,
that
well,
one.
that's
It doesn't look a lot different.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you very much.
No, that's all right. I quite happily look at all of them in great detail when they're out, if they come out, and if they
Well,
I
yeah,
clean
that's
them
right.
myself.
Oh wow! We'll keep you
With a
to
big
that.
scrubbing brush. Yeah, yeah.
What are the holes formed by? Is that roots or is that
Yeah,
before they came in?
it's a combination of things. So where when you've got just the boulders like this, so they're all a bit knobbly, you don't quite see it so well. It's much better when you get the really big slabs of it. But a number of them are clearly root holes.
See, that's
And you could
quite-
compare
that's
these.
got some decent sized ones in it there.
Yes, that sort of thing. And the way that they formed is actually not particularly well understood, and there are a couple of related but nevertheless rival theories. And one is that the plants whose roots went into these sandy, muddy, tertiary deposits on top of the chalk, the plants themselves had a high silica content in their cells. So when you've got groundwater saturated with silica, percolating through all the quartz, sand and everything, that the silicification, the sticking together, is encouraged because you've got this high silica content in these plants,
Okay.
so that you get these roots, and of course there's organic material there which is going to erode out and just degrade and go and leaving holes. But also, part of all the lumpy shape and all the rest of it is because the quality of the silicification is variable. So in some places you get really hard cementing over large areas of the sand, which is how you get the really big boulders, for like Avebury and Stonehenge and the Barrows and all the rest of it. But then in other places it's more variable, so you end up with these small boulders, and then as time goes on and you get lots of erosion, then all the softer stuff, the stuff that's not stuck together very well or not stuck together at all, is then eroded away by natural weathering and water and all those other processes. So you're left with boulders like this, bigger bits, and then as you get the last thawing, you get the periglacial processes, the last formation processes going along the ridge up here and beyond as the tundra starts to thaw out and everything, and all these rocks start moving. You get that final breaking up, and the last of the stuff is washed away. So it's why they're all so irregular. But on that one that's in the corner there, where it's got a cortex, it's called a cortex, like Flint has a cortex, but the cortex on Flint nodules is chalk. All it is on these Sarsen boulders is just where the surface then has been weathered through time, and it creates this harder sort of skin almost. It becomes indurated, I think is the right word for it. And you can break Sarsen stones. Of course you can break Sarsen stones. There's a whole industry of breaking Sarsen
that's
stones.
right.
It's all about having the tools and more particularly the techniques, and then the time to do it and the will to do it.
Quite large areas of Old Town and Swindon have Sarsen curves, don't they? And some of them are still there now.
Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot in different places. And there are Sarsens, you find Sarsens well, like we found out at the archaeology conference talking about Lockmead Farm.
Yes.
You know, there are Sarsen on the Jurassic geology further north of here. And so sometimes when you see Sarsens dotted about, you wonder, is it there because it's natural, or is it there because it's been brought in as a bit of a garden feature? It's not entirely clear quite how far they're going.
Yeah, I've got quite a few in my garden.
Yeah, but then this is one of the places you'd expect them to find them, like they're up on the top.
Yeah, and they roll
And then you'd expect to see them along here. Yeah.
Lovely.
Very lovely.
Thanks, Katie. That was excellent.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
I never really knew what we talk about Sarsens, never really knew what they were. I know what I think they are when I look at them. Yes, I can say I think that's a Sarsen.
If they're that slabby kind of stone, but
And I
they're all
suppose if
variable.
they're to be seen as well, and the collection of these suggests that they're not supposed to be visible, doesn't it? Really? It wouldn't say anything. It doesn't make a floor surface. It's not even enough to lay anything over the top of it. So
Or to stand upright.
so
So
it's,
the burials that you do know about, they were meant to be seen, the slabs.
well, I've never seen, to be honest.
No, they're all
one
buried
that's-
though. There's nothing on the
Underground.
surface. It's not like an upper,
Okay.
structure. One of the sites.